Hello, my name is Tara Shepperson. I'm an assistant professor at Eastern Kentucky University, and today I want to briefly outline work my colleagues and I have undertaken at an alternative school that we call School for Success. Opening its doors in August of 2009, the School for Success targeted students who were failing classes, often truant, and disengaged in their home schools. This district sought to avert that process by identifying unsuccessful students as young as 7th grade in a school serving students through 12th grade. Of the 50 students who entered throughout the first year, many arrived with backgrounds detrimental to learning. Home situations had led some youngsters to be placed in foster care or with relatives other than parents. Many students found it necessary to hold outside jobs or were responsible to care for children, either siblings or their own. By definition of acceptance to the program, students had a history of underperformance and disinterest in school. The School for Success was built on two major premises. First, that the school must be a safe and supportive environment, especially for these students who suffer insecurities outside. The second was that personal attention and respect from teachers and other staff would in time reduce student feelings of defeat and alienation, and through immediate and positive interactions, mutual respect, and individual choice, encourage learning. This study used a pre-post test design of regularly collected school assessment data to answer whether student performance and behavior improved during the first year at the new school. Specifically, the researchers compared student outcomes from the prior year and throughout the first year. Academic progress was defined by measures of academic progress, or MAP test scores. Other indicators were identified from school reports on student attendance, discipline referrals, and grades. These routinely collected data were considered efficient and reasonable first steps, especially since they are commonly used to assess school success. Research questions. Guiding the investigation was the overriding question whether in its first year this alternative school could demonstrate improved student behavior and performance using traditional accountability calculations. Specific questions guiding the study were: first, to what extent were there improvements in student behavior and attitude as measured by attendance rates, as measured by discipline referrals? To what extent were there improvements in student academic performance as measured by class grades and measured by standardized academic assessment scores? Findings showed mixed results. To answer the first research question, whether improvement in student behavior and attitude could be measured by attendance rates, frequencies indicated a marked improvement in attendance rates from 83.1% the prior year to 91.5% during the first year at School for Success. Other influences may have improved attendance. The district provided bus service for all students, but the staff also gave anecdotes about students' keen desire to attend, on several occasions phoning and asking for rides or walking to school, even great distances, if they missed the bus. Average discipline referrals for the previous year were averaged 6.25 per student. At School for Success, they compared to 0.09 per student. This suggests dramatically improved behavior, but this is also likely a result of different school policies, which in this case require that teachers handle minor classroom discipline issues. This was part of the school's approach of changing patterns of behavior by not excluding students, but keeping them in the classrooms, not study halls or detention. Student grades also differed greatly, but again were affected by school policy, where teachers felt an obligation to ensure student success, as illustrated by the dramatic change from an average of 6.8 failing grades per student, meaning that by and large all students were failing all classes, to a mean average of 0.02 failing grades. Last, but certainly not least, paired t-test analysis of variance of both reading and math scores indicated no significant difference. At the end of the first year, MAP standard test scores revealed no improved academic performance. So, where do all these findings leave us? On one hand, there was a palpable sense of enthusiasm and emotional support throughout the school. This appears to be evident with the improved attendance. But this does not translate into empirical evidence of improved academic student performance. Where does this inconsistency lie? With the students, the school, or the accountability measurements? To some extent, probably all three. School for Success was designed for students at risk of dropping out or otherwise disengaged from school. These students come with baggage that takes time to overcome. Reports from alternative programs in many states, and certainly most notable in larger states such as New York, California, and Texas, suggest that alternative routes to diplomas and graduation rarely indicate academic achievement at the levels of regular high schools. This may be the result of the additional and remedial instruction that's needed. It could be because of the focus is more on vocational rather than college prep curriculum, at least traditionally. Or it really could be the school focus on quick credit recovery, completion of high school, rather than advanced academic excellence. These results should not lead to a decrying of alternative schools. Rather, really a need to face the prevailing problem clearly facing the United States of high dropout rates. In 2009, the United States was listed 21st in national rankings by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. The slide lists some of the countries that have fewer dropouts than the United States. And certainly, the fact remains that the large percentage of youngsters who do not find school satisfying and purposeful, that do in fact end up dropping out, are those at the economically lowest echelons of society. Students of low income are 5 times more likely to drop out. So it's clear that alternative schools are needed. Certainly, many are designed for credit recovery and fast track to diplomas. The School for Success belongs to a category of alternative schools with purpose based on interpersonal connection, group solidarity, intercultural concerns, inner reflection, and a caring processes. The school appears to have systems that are designed to nurture and produce compassionate and imaginative future citizens. That certainly to some extent is at odds with the industrial, instrumental, and efficiency-driven models of 20th century schools. And perhaps one is more likely to not show instrumental changes as seen by accountability data because of the priorities and instructional methods of the school. But perhaps there's other reasons. Perhaps School for Success failed to adequately motivate students to explain why testing was important and why they should actively participate and try to succeed. Certainly, perhaps we should not expect that kind of dramatic change in scores after 1 year. Accountability data is not going away. It's certainly the mainstay of educational assessment, and it serves a purpose, not just for comparison among schools, but real quantifiable means to assess progress. So while it can be argued that accountability data does not tell the full story, it's also true that the School for Success and its staff signed on for a tough course of action. Perhaps they simply need faith that the school's mentoring environment will lead to engagement and ultimately academic achievement. More likely, however, they also must be aware of their instruction and ensure that it has the academic rigor associated to it to allow for student success. Foundational studies over the last 30 to 40 years have shown that across socioeconomic, racial, ethnic, and language groups, school participation and involvement in school does relate to school achievement. So the teachers of School for Success have mustered some beginning indications of participation in terms of attendance. Now they must do what's necessary to ensure students' belief in the utility and purpose of classwork, that the sense of belonging and positive self-image and identity with school relates to linkages building on academic achievement. This does not seem to be automatic, and the school's success ultimately will depend on its ability to provide an educational experience that promotes high-quality futures for its students. The last couple of slides gives my contact information if you have additional questions, and also some resources about alternative schools in the United States. Thank you for your attention.